Hello, one person watching the stream.
Hey.
It, oh, we have two. Ooh.
Sassy.
Yeah, no, right. There must be people. Oh, now back to one. Perfect. Right, so just to recap kind of where we left off last night. That's Van Beesens. So we kind of sculpted most of the hair just to kind of get it figured out and worked quite heavily on the body. I do have notes that I can start working through. We've still got quite a long way before I retopo this guy. I also want to get rid of these clumps at the back because although they will be helpful in the end, I think for now, while I'm still sculpting the general shape, they're not particularly helpful. So I'm just going to remove those first. But yeah, if anyone has any notes as I go, please do let me know. Because obviously as you get closer and closer to the end of one of these blockouts, it gets harder to see the shapes. So let's just add radio fade. Living in London, beautiful sounds outside. What's it doing? There we go. So, let's just get rid of these guys. Sculptures Pro is genuinely great. I really like this. It's great for sculpting hair. I wouldn't really like it for sculpting most things. It's just a bit too slow for me, but sculpting hair is actually great. Let me just quickly brush stroke all here. Just get some resolution. I just want to get some resolution in this area so I can turn off the Sculptures Pro just so I get a little bit better speed. So now I can sculpt like real time without any issues. So the thing we're gonna have to figure out with this groom is, so we've got this direction, we've got the general kind of direction from the front. I think this is working fairly nicely. We do need to get this lip in, but that can come later. Because that looks like it will have to come a lot further forward. But at the back, so we've got this crown, which I kind of need to ignore for most of the hair, but we also need to have the hair grow into the ears. And that can be quite a complex flow to get right. So I'm going to kind of experiment with kind of maybe a parting down the middle will be what it needs. I will add asymmetry to this in later stages, but for now I just want to figure out the volume and the general flow, because to be honest with grooming, you can do a lot of concepting of flows with guide work. It's easier to understand hair as curves, like hair as sculpture. Obviously it can be done, and it can look absolutely great, especially if you look at the stuff from the old masters and all that sort of stuff. But I'm not one of those, so let's just get this guy. But yeah, so we got a fair bit to figure out still. I'm not going to go too far into the hair sculpting, just because it is a proxy. I'm only using it to figure out flows, basically. I'm also going to use it to figure out where to split my grooms. I think I am going to do a fur mane and maybe fur chest or fur neck. Because there is quite a clear separation between these two, and I think it'd be quite difficult to do all that with one set of guides. It's not going to be easy either way, but I think it'd be a lot easier if I separate those two. And also these fluffy bits around the ears I'm probably going to have to separate as well as the ears themselves. There's going to be quite a lot of groom separation in this guy, just because it's such a kind of complex shape. So before we get too far into that, because I did the thing that I wanted to do, let's just... So we can have a flow that goes... so we need the hair to go out and into the ear, somehow. And then flow down into this. And then that's the kind of general flow that we're going to need to get this to work. This area is going to be very problematic, but we can get it to work. I've done a similar groom before, like in terms of like how this guide work is or will be, so I kind of have some experience in this sort of shape, but it is a nightmare. And obviously this shape, as with most grooms in the industry, was not done alone, so it'll be tricky to figure out. But yeah, so I'm just painting to figure out the flows. I think something like that will work. Obviously I'll need to add some like squigglies, so like some guides that kind of do that sort of thing, so you can get some cool shapes in there. But yeah, so just do that. And figuring out the termination down here is going to be really awkward. There's a few ways I could go about it. I could make it super round, like that, which is probably the route I'll go, or I can make it super flat. Let me just go into transparency mode. Always check your groom against the volume of your skull, by the way. You want to make sure you're giving yourself plenty of space. But something like that could also work, having the hair kind of a lot more droopy, but that doesn't really make sense with the whole curling up thing, so I think I will go the other way, which is adding volume to the back, something like that. And then I'll have to really scraggle at the ends to make that work. I just need to get the anatomy on the back figured out before I go much further. Next thing that I really need to do is the ears. The ears are too wide for sure, so let's just get in there with a big move brush. That helps a fair bit, and let's see what that looks like without the hair. Yeah, he looks weird without hair. I do think I've missed something to how this is supposed to attach. Obviously I haven't started attaching it yet, it's still a separate object. I will be merging that, although I don't really have to considering the hair, but I should, really. I'm going to pick a darker colour for this. Color, RGB, color fill object, and then you pick that color, color fill object. Cool. Put that back up there. And let's just quickly scroll through the ref. Yeah, that one's best to look at right now. Cool. So one of the notes that I kind of gave myself and got a few people agreeing on is that the face is currently too big. However, it might be easier for me to size everything else up, because if I just shrink the face, I'm going to have to re-sculpt quite a lot to get the forms right, whereas if I just scale up the body, or like thicken up all this and make the hair wider, if I do all of that, obviously that's made the face smaller, but I've not had to actually sculpt the face. But one thing I also need to do is the eyes feel too big. So I need to select these guys. Let's get the scale brush and just shrink. I need to turn on local symmetry. Shrink the eyes down a bit. And then just widen this. That might help quite a lot. Feels like it helps. So now I can do that to round that out. And obviously now I need to fix the actual shape because the shape is ruined now. So let's get everything invisible except from there we go. Alright, so because now I've tweaked the shape, the thickness is all over the place again. And this needs to be flatter. pull that in just a little bit. It's a little bit too thick in some areas. Okay. So let's make the hair bigger. And then make the shoulders bigger, because that will have the effect of making the face look smaller, but again, I don't have to resculpt the face now. Because we're not set on scale yet. Like, the actual character is going to get scaled once I take him into Maya, because currently he's just modeled, his head is the default sphere in ZBrush, so I have no idea if he's the correct scale or not.
What, your kiddo?
This guy?
Your child?
Yeah, I have no idea how big he is. Like, literally no clue.
4.
He is 4 big. So that's the hair bigger, which makes the face feel smaller, but now it feels a bit ridiculous. Making the ears narrower helps, but I think I need to go even further. Let's try transparent. And hide you. So now we've got the issue of it's leaving the head. Let's do stuff like that. This feels like it would need some pretty major support to hold up, so I'm going to have to really sculpt something in here to hold it up. That looks like it's working a bit better. And as we go, I'm going to save. Right, so next thing. I'm going to hide the hair for this as well. Need to make the shoulders way bigger. Let's go across actually. I'm going to fix the neck as well. The neck makes no sense. I just feel like I just need to do that, really. It's the shoulders that kind of break it. Like, this just looks silly. So let me just figure out the... yeah, that was completely silly. Let me try. The chest seems to be super puffy. He's actually surprisingly broad, this guy. Let's resculpt that, but brushstrokes facing up this time. It's good to follow the actual form of the muscle sometimes. I don't know why he's so broad in the concept, but like, to me this feels like quite voluminous. This is going to need some significant work now though. But the pec needs to be pulled in a bit. Let's turn off the alpha. Have this guy. Huh. Let's smooth all this out with a clay brush. That needs to be filled out. So one thing I've realised as well is obviously his arms are really long, so these traps, not traps, sorry, these wasn't it? Triceps, and he's going to need to be a lot longer. Because it wouldn't make sense for them to be like voluminous and short. Like, they really should be long because the arm is long. made the pecs too big. Need to be careful, don't accidentally give him boobs. So obviously we only really see him from this height, but I still need to make sure I get these shapes right. This is too round now. Yeah, let's go to stroke, lazy mouse, and then lazy radius, crank you way up. Cool, that's a nice radius. Can't remember much about the back anatomy. Diamond. And then you got these guys in here. You got that needs to be flatter, or at least in line with the ribs. That helps. Hey Michael, cool character. Just finished watching Dragon Boy lives yesterday. Awesome work, man. Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. I can't promise the same results with every character. But yeah, Dragon Boy did come out quite well. I'm pretty happy with the work on him. Oh, that's not what I want. So the lats don't tend to be this voluminous, but just to get that stroke in there. I need to quickly double check how back anatomy works. Let me just Google traps. I'm not going to Google traps, actually, that's a really bad idea. Trap muscles. Okay, can I find someone where it's built up? Well, I've got that triangle in the wrong place. Should be way higher, okay. So that's a fibrous sheet. Okay, so what I should do is make this darker. Let's paint. So I've got my scapula here, got my cool, so I've got a scapula there, that'll do. So we need, well, it goes a bit further forward, doesn't it? There we go. So that's about right. And then we've got a fibrous sheet here, according to this medical diagram anyway. And then we have the muscles come down to a point. I'll have to check if it's the same on monkeys. And that is a fibrous sheet there as well. That form doesn't look that familiar to me in this area, but it shows me that I need to hollow out this. Then we have steno. Cool. And you can come a bit further in. That's not steno, that's clavicle. Should know that. Let me just double check. Hey Rima, how's it going? Ooh, gaps posted. So let me just say I'm just organising ref on the other screen because I want to have the character ref on my left screen. Let's find some other reference. Okay, so the muscles do this kind of flow. That's the belly of the muscle, although it looks like it should be a bit more widespread. Cool. Then lats, we've got those pretty much in the right place, I believe. So they can go up in there, that's fine. Although it should have a bit more of an angle to it. Because that doesn't feel right. And what can I find? So, back anatomy. Forward to the groom. Yeah, it'll be a little while before I start the groom on this character. I still haven't decided if I want to push through pipeline, as in like do actual proper retopology rather than zero mesh, just because like I feel like I don't need to prove that I can do retopology, just because, not because people know I can already do it, because you know they don't necessarily know that. More just a case of he is a personal project. He's not going through pipeline. He's just going to be staying still, so I can get away with. You don't need to retopo for that. That is the wrong shape. Let me get a steady stroke on. So I'm still debating whether or not I want to do like proper anatomy, not anatomy, proper, what's the word I'm looking for? I'll get there eventually. I'm not sure if I want to do proper retopology. Yeah, got there eventually. Just because it's something that it might be a waste of time if I've already got, you know, if zero mesh is enough for this case. So a problem I've got is maybe I've got my scapulars too far in, because strictly speaking, deltoid is supposed to do that, and that seems ridiculous. Although to be fair, it is a fibrous sheep at a certain point, so maybe that's fine. I keep saying fibrous sheet. I need to learn the actual name. I don't know the attachment in this area. I believe it's part of the scapula, where it meets clavicle or gets close to, and then the bone sits in between. But I don't know, so I do need to get back up to scratch on that. And then Terra kind of comes here. I feel like I've got some of these in the right place, but it doesn't feel right. That is too much volume. So I don't want my monkey to be completely buff, but at the same time I kind of want to figure out the correct proportions of this guy. Brush across the farm in this case. So I tend to like to do a little bit of a bunch of muscle. I don't know if that's technically correct, but I like to bunch the muscle up at the this little node here. Again, don't know if that's correct, but it's something I quite like to do. Let me try this. Just to help me figure out that. Feels somewhat like it's working. It's obviously too defined, but I don't know why that happens. That's something I need to look up. And then so let's get that back on there. Let's start carving away at this. Carve away at you. Feels like it's helping. I'm going to do a lot of smoothing. Also, the general shape feels like it's not working yet. I feel like I've gone into secondary forms before I've got the actual primary form correct, which is a bad idea. Maybe I can add like a bend to his back. That feels very strange. Maybe we can add a hunch to his back. Oh, no. He's definitely wrong from the side view. Check with transparent. I don't like how square it feels at the top. helps a bit. That does not help. This is going to require a lot of fur to actually fill that out. So I can see I'm going to have a lot of issues with this, just because we've got quite a small surface area for the monkey. So if I select this guy, we've got quite a small surface area. Obviously I'll be smoothing this out. I need to figure out the neck. The neck is just beyond broken. I can't just pull that in. Or maybe I can get away with it. Yeah, it works okay. Let's keep that. Let's round this guy out a bit. Let's change the intensity. And then he needs to follow the rib. Got 5 people viewing already, that's not bad. So, I feel like I need to get back to the eyes, because the thing that's throwing me off kind of most is the, at least from getting the concept. I think that these are still too small, so let's scale that up. That'll do. But the thing that's still throwing me off the concept the most, or taking me away from the concept the most, is the upper eyelid, because I've got the shape completely wrong, but I haven't figured out how yet. Because it feels a lot flatter, but at the same time it's like this fold of skin. And my knowledge of monkey eyes is not really strong enough. This guy isn't too helpful. I'm going to Google spider monkey eyes. There we go. So let's search for spider monkey eyes, and let's get this guy back up. They have really creepy eyes, so I'm going to Google this on screen. Drag him off. So it looks like what he's drawn isn't necessarily based on what they do. Like he's pushed it to a different level. Also, this is amazing reference when I come back. This hair is super weird. This fur quality is really cool as well. You have to get that bristly feeling in the actual groom. There's a case now of, do I want to be faithful to the concept where it's pulled back a bit, or at least in the lighting it looks like it's pulled back a bit, or do I want to be more faithful to what I can find? Like, I know this is a chimpanzee, but can I find any ape eyes that are like that? Maybe the brow's not strong enough on that guy, maybe that's throwing it off. This is the closest I can find. They're really scary looking. Like this shade of blue would look beautiful with white iris, with white sclera, but with black sclera it's kind of terrifying. Ooh. This is pretty close. Can I find one that's higher resolution? Or is that just a expression thing? Because the rest of them seem to have what I'd call normal eyelids, really. His eyes are just pushed in. He's got regular eyelids. Same for him. Is that a drawing? Doesn't look like a real photo. Capuchin monkeys are hilarious. Love it. So that's kind of helpful, but again, like it has a defined eyelid and the concept doesn't, but I can't tell if it's lighting. I wouldn't say it's an oversight because the concept is like really well produced, so I can't imagine it being an oversight. It's just a case of, was it a conscious choice or was it a happy accident? Because that kind of changes whether or not I'd want to base it on real animals. What was that one I saw earlier? That's the closest one I can find, but it's not helpful ref. That one's pretty good as well. There is an eyelid though, it's just super flat. Maybe it is just the way it was painted. It's a very tiny image. Huh. That's someone's work. That's pretty decent. It's missing. The bump is way too strong, I think, but at least I think it's bump. It didn't look like displacement. Right. Oh. Maybe you. That's a pretty close match. So it's a flapper skin that's holding over it. Okay, let me try. I'm going to put this back on my other screen. Drag you back over here. So let me try having him open image in your tab, and then let's just go back to the other one just in case I need it. Open image in new tab. The images are tiny. Let's give that a go. So I'm going to need a more defined brow for this to work. I'm also going to need to hide that hair because the hair is very much in the way. And I'm also going to hide the ears because the ears look hilarious. So let's get some more Z intensity in there. Okay. So I need to make this super flat. Oh, actually, a different way I could do it. Smooth this out as a quick pass. And then I need from here to around here. No. I'll just subtract the mask rather than redoing it every time. Beautiful. So, if I get the inflate tool, and give you a quick smooth, and then move topological. Move topological might not work for this. I need to hide the mask. Does that look better? Or do I want to go against it? Okay, so around. Come on. Alright, so there. I prefer the one on the left. Let's go even further back still. I prefer that one. I prefer the one on the left personally. There's 4 of you in the chat at the moment. What do you guys think? Should I go for the one on the right? Because technically the one on the right is more accurate to what's in the concept. Well, I shouldn't have that dark shadow. I need to smooth out this, to be fair. And on this side too. Let's give it a fair chance. Let's actually have an effort at this. So let's get you there. I'm really not sure. Let's try, just in case it helps, let's try adding the ears and hair back on. And try doing a PBR render. No, BPR even. Okay, so bring that to the front. Try doing a render view. Doesn't really help. I feel like this sort of stuff should also be done after I've done retopper, so I can have the overlap without having to worry about that. Because retoppoing that is a nightmare to maintain actual thickness. And if I want good subsurface, that's probably something I need to do. I don't know. Yeah. 6 current viewers, it's not bad. Let's round you out. What are you doing? I'm holding Alt. Am I still in the eye right now? Ugh. There we go. Turn off IDB, turn on Ziad. Wrinkles do something kind of weird on the ref as well. Not on this ref, on the close-up monkey ref we've got. I'm introducing that anger again. I need to be careful about that. Maybe if I angle it that way. I need to reduce the lazy radius on that because it's a bit too intense. Shrug. Somewhere around that. So they actually have like a bit of a weird mound over. It kind of like overpowers the bottom one. It's not working from the side either right now. Switch reference. Weep. Skin detailing on this guy is going to be a nightmare. Not because he's particularly difficult, more but just because I haven't done it in so long. I feel like the stroke lazy step needs to be 10 to 0 for this guy. So, eye shape. I'm now starting to wonder if the ears are in the right place. Is it time to start dynameshing stuff together so I can move on to the retopo stage and then go back into sculpting afterwards? Because I can always, you know, change the UVs and tweak topology where I need to. Like maybe if I Z-remesh a base and go from there. That's one option. Let's just add some volume there. Get some nice curls in there. Make it feel like it's got a volume to it. There we go, that feels a lot better. Is it too windy? Probably. Do I care? Not particularly. Let's carve that in actually. I have a question on production environment. How much time do people get for a single character? I can't really answer that. I can tell you it depends on a lot of factors. It depends on budget of the film, budget for that specific character, how close the character's seen, how difficult the character is. Like if it's just a standard digitable, you don't need as much time as you would need for like a super complex creature with like loads of feathers and scales or some like mad skeleton rig that's needed. You can get characters that go on for weeks, months, years can happen. It's really hard for me to say. So yeah, it depends. There's too many variables for me to answer that question accurately. Sorry, I can't really help on that, but just how it is, I'm afraid. Let's fill you in. I'm gonna have to cave that back in a second, but that's fine. Just want to get something in place. It also depends on the studio you're at and what quality they're aiming for. Like obviously, studios the size of Double Negative and MPC will work on a completely different scale to much smaller studios. You know, I don't need to name smaller studios. You know what I mean? Like studios with less staff, and depending on the studio, sometimes less experience. It depends on the studio themselves. You might require more time at those studios. feel like this arm, I don't know if it's an angle thing, because when I view it from this angle it does look pretty large. I just don't want to go too far with it. Let's go grab a drink of water, guys. I'll be back in less than a minute. I'm back. Also got some foam banana as well as that. I got some notifications I need to check. Alright, so I feel like cheekbones are too wide. I can't tell if it's maybe the angle, or maybe they're sloped back a lot. Ooh, that's not good. That looks really bad actually. Well, that looks really horrible. Okay. We're back to figuring out the head again. This just looks dead to me. Let's figure out what's making it so wrong. I think it's the thickness of... Well, it's actually, it could be the drop off the eyes. They are round, right? Yeah, they are. I think it's either the thickness of this guy, because it's a bit wobbly. I really need to make a low res so I have more control over this sort of stuff. They have a little thing in here. I forgot the name of this. I think it's like Caruncula or something. Just need to add that in. That might help a little bit. Seems to be a little bit of a interesting thing going on with this. Ooh, that's way too strong. Oh, that's way too weak. Kind of interesting. Makes this wrong. That wouldn't make much sense, but I don't know what Becca's listening to, but I kind of dig it. I don't know how well you guys can hear that in the background. It's like some 80s synth thing. You need to come forward. And that's one of the things that's doing it. How though? Like that? By sculpting it forward? That makes a lot more sense, but we strayed further from the concept each change we've made. Again, a lot of this process is kind of figuring out what is wanted. Because, again, at some point I really should go speak to the guy who painted the concept. Just to get his input, like, you know, is this, you know, as I've said in previous streams, like, he's also a really competent modeler, so, you know, it's kind of a lot of pressure, but, you know, it would be worth asking, you know, oh, is this what you kind of imagined for the sculpt, or have I just gone and destroyed everything that you valued in the concepts? Like, because it's possible that he sees a completely different set of characteristics to this than me, and I'm just misinterpreting what he's drawn. Not necessarily in terms of forms, but more in terms of feel. Like, because obviously, like, as I've said in previous streams, I tend to make things look quite moody. So because of that, if something appeals because it's cute, then I tend not to be able to get that. The Dragon Boy worked out okay, but you know, it's normally when I attempt cute, it takes a lot longer than if I was to do something that's not cute. So weirdly, looking at the real monkey ref, it looks like the corner of the eye just stops. It doesn't blend. It just, there's like a fatty pocket or something that just kind of stops at a really abrupt line. It's not that extreme though. Not liking that change. Still bumpy. Ooh, quite like how this works. Apparently a low focal shift on the move brush is actually kind of handy for this stuff. And it makes sense because it's less pointy. Wasn't expecting it to make that big of a difference though. Granted, the best way to control this sort of stuff is with a low res mesh. It's a lot easier to work with. I think we're making progress. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. Today might be a day where all the progress I think I make is in the wrong direction. Beautiful. I'm gonna delete head and close the holes. Perfect. No, I need to kill Flux. Up. Blue Jeans. I need to stop Blue Jeans from opening up every time I launch. Kill Xbox and disable until sunrise. There we go. So now I got a saved version. I'm going to save one more version up. And I'm going to start dynameshing things together. I hate that. But I'm right clicking. No, you're wrong. Don't know why it insists on that sometimes. Yeah, it's doing that again. Right. Let's hide the hair. Ears and head first. Geometry. And then, do they have a layer below? Nope. Okay, cool. So, there we go. Merge down. So now, geometry, Dynamesh. Am I about to lose all my details? I'm not. Oh, I am actually. Let's pump that resolution up 600. I'm not too worried about poly count, to be honest. That's better. We've lost some stuff, but that's fine. We've got the general shapes, and I'm not in that detailing phase yet. I also don't want it to be too high poly. Let's get the ears sculpted on. So this makes no sense, but I'm going to have to get some ref for that. Get some pictures of dog ears or something. I know this. The ears for this guy were based on a funnel-eared bat. But because they have fur, it's going to be really hard to find how they attach. So I might have to go in and sculpt it as if it's dog ears for the attachment, which will take a little bit of research. That feels a bit better though. I'll have to do a lot of figuring out though. I think this entire area will need to be filled, to be honest, like that. But that doesn't make sense either, because there's no hole for the ear. So we'll get back to that area. For now, let's find out how dog ears are attached to the head. So, dog ears. Oh, actually, what are those cats called that have no fur? Cat, no fur. Sphinx cat. Obviously it's not the same structure of ear, but in terms of seeing how it attaches to the head, this might be quite helpful. It also gives me some pretty decent reference for folds and, you know, the different ways that could be approached. Such a smooth blend. That kittens are weird though. Wait, they have fur. Is that actually a sphinx? Oh no, it's not. Okay. 7 reps. That's cool. I'm gonna get some inspiration for that for the final sculpt. I just need to find a view of the back of their head. Perfect. So there's like a little bit of a divot here. And other than that, it's pretty smoothly attached with some wrinkles. Granted, this isn't the breed of animal I'm doing, but it's not a million miles away. I do need to attach this though. As I'm looking at it, I'm realizing it should be attached. It's not human earlobes that we're playing with here, you know. So let's go in and add. I might be best actually just getting a separate geometry and kind of filling the gap and then dynameshing that in, because sculpting these together is just going to give me artifacting. Although I'm scared if I dynamesh again, I'm going to get issues with losing too much volume. Not losing too much volume, sorry, losing too many details, because if I keep re-dynameshing the same thing, I don't know if it's going to find the exact same point. Frankly, you know, there's a gap in my knowledge. It's not necessarily an issue with the software. I just don't know if it will hold the shapes. Right, okay, so BIH is it? No, BIT. I hate that. I really wish BIW still worked. That's not what I wanted, but it'll do. So is this what I want, or is this going to ruin it? I think that looks better. Does that work better? Sometimes using separate meshes is the best way to do this sort of thing, at least in my opinion. Again, disclaimer, I'm not a professional modeler. Well, technically I am now, but not really. I can't dynamic solo that, that's annoying. Kind of like the crease this is going to give us. Did I lose any shapes? I didn't. Just flips some triangles. That's cool. Alright, that makes me happy. Now I just need to sculpt this to make it feel organic, which is a high task. Let me just quickly check some stuff. This needs a lot of fixing. What I'm doing right now, I'm not based on any particular reference, I've just got an idea in my head as to how I want this to look. So I'm going to give it a go. Just want to hollow this area out a bit. I might, if I'm not careful, I'll sculpt through to the other side of the ear, which would obviously be bad, so I need to be careful with that. I think that works a bit better. Maybe if I go in with a down standard, do something like that. No, I'm wrong. So let's go across this to break up that polygon. Let's blend it back here. Let's get some good ear ref. So getting the thickness of the ears is going to be really, really hard. Like, it might be something that's best done in Retarbo. Like, model the plane and ear thick and then extrude it. And obviously reproject the bottom. How thick is this thing for it to not be going through yet? There we go. That's how thick the ear is. Way too much. The subsurface is going to be awful in that. I'll get back to it. And I could fake it with a like over the top map, but I'd really rather not go with that approach, to be honest. Like if I get a thickness map and then crank it, right, do a levels adjustment on it or something to really trick the renderer into thinking this is thinner than it actually is. I say trick, I just make the I'd make the radius of the subsurface just thicker than it should be, and then plug in a over the top thickness map to mask it. But it's better to have things correct thickness. Should this blend further over? I'm not sure how I feel about that. Really not sure how I feel about that shape either. So let's get that, and then there's that divot behind the ear that we spotted earlier. Let's keep this bump. Kind of interesting. So let's save. I know I just saved, but I'm being overcautious right now. currently on the other screen just looking for some ref, in fact, and then bring it back over again. It's currently like, I've increased the quality of the streams. Hopefully you guys can see a bit more now. It just means the delay is a lot bigger. Like, so obviously you guys saw me put the Google on the other screen. It literally just right now got onto my screen, onto the stream for me. So when I'm saying this, which is however long later, 20 seconds later, that's when I'm seeing on the stream the Google get put on this screen. So it is quite a large delay. So if you ask me something and I seem like I'm ignoring you, I'm probably not ignoring you. Just something to keep in mind. Let's keep. I don't like the headline for that image though. It's a bit bumpy. Also, this image is really crazy to look at. It looks like it's fine. It's incredibly lucky. Perfectly smooth blend. Getting some of this bumpiness will be cool. I don't know what this subsurface is coming from. Is the air folding on itself? Yeah, it is, isn't it? So this is in completely the wrong place, isn't it? Like that needs to be way further back so I can dig a hole in. I don't need to go full depth, I'm just going to do a hole. And then I like to add, in front of ears, I like to add this little dot. I don't know why that little dot just always seems to pop up on ears for me, but I don't know, it adds something. Like, it always seems to do something. I quite like the way it looks. It doesn't make sense, but it just works for some reason. Again, no idea why. This is going to feel like a whirlpool if I'm not careful. Like Moby Dick rather than an ear. So let's try filling you in. Although cats with earlobes feels weird. Cats with earlobes feels very weird. Let's hollow it out instead. That feels a bit better. I'm kind of getting the illusion of detail right now, where my brush strokes seem to be doing more for me than I expect them to. And then I'm going to need to go in and get the thickness of this ear. So that's going through. That's going through. Okay, so we're getting closer at least. That's getting close. I need to be careful, don't get like super random thickness changes. That's going to take quite a few passes. I'm going to need to view this in like a wireframe mode, which I don't know if you can do in ZBrush, like an X-ray wireframe type thing. Smooth out the air. That would be better at least. I can always do multiple passes. Right. Why is that reference all over this? All over the screen. Still not happy with this eye. This just looks silly. We're not going to see most of that, are we? Do all that modelling and you're going to cover it with Grim. I swear the modelling team must hate Grim departments, just because they do all this beautiful work and then we just cover it. Use your illusions. Hi Michael. Are you going to cover the texture and the diff part as well? Would love to see your workflow. Yeah, I will do. I haven't decided exactly what pipeline I'm going to push this through. I'm going to I will texture look dev. What I'm wondering is, am I going to retopologize this properly, or I'm just going to use ZRemesh? Because since it's a stationary object, and because I'm doing this as like just to recreate this image here, I don't necessarily need perfect topology. Like the mouth doesn't need to be able to open. It doesn't need to be expressions. Like I'm just going to sculpt everything in. So I might end up ZRemeshing it, but then do I want to UV it properly? As in, do I want to use UDIMs? If I want to use UDIMs, how am I going to do the fur with it? Because obviously this doesn't really use sculpts. So it might get quite cumbersome. But in terms of texturing, I do need to figure out if I'm going to use Substance Painter, sorry, or Mari, because I do have non-commercial Mari and I do have a indie license of Painter. I'll be using Painter to bake some maps regardless, but I'm pushing towards using Mari, to be honest, just because it's my main texturing software. Lit dev I'll definitely be doing. I haven't done much skin lit dev. Well, I haven't done really any skin lit dev in RenderMan before. Like my previous projects, which you can find. He's called Dragon Boy. He's on my channel. I only finished him a couple days ago. He's not really got proper skin lit dev. He's just got some generic single scatter. I think that ZRemesh would do a job, and then UVing properly. Yeah, probably. It's more a case of, I've got a showreel, and I've got a generalist showreel, and I've got a professional showreel, because I haven't worked as a generalist, so obviously all my showreel stuff is under very strict NDA, so it can't be public. But my generalist reel hasn't been updated since I went to uni, so I kind of need to prove that I can do topology. But at the same time, like, I can do it. It's more just a case of the time that it would take for this project isn't worth the hassle. So I might just do a separate, smaller project to demonstrate topology, maybe some hard surface stuff and a little bit of organic, but I'm not 100% set yet. Although if I do end up using ZRemesh, I tend to go really high res ZRemesh. It's like 100k polygons for the head. Only reason being is because ZRemesh never really gives you a proper flow anyway. You can use ZRemesh guys, and there is a plugin out there, but I haven't got the plugin. But yeah, like I normally go quite high res on ZRemeshes, which then makes UVing more of a hassle. So not 100% certain what I'm going to do yet. I've still got quite probably 2 or 3 days worth of sculpting to do before I worry about that too much. Because I might ZRemesh, but then by the time of continued sculpting, I might need to ZRemesh it again, which will be really annoying. Need to fix the arm. Let's fix the arm. I also need to figure out how I'm going to do the movement, as in like the ref. He looks like this looks like an arm to me. It looks like he's kind of got his back twisted, so I need to figure out how I'm going to deform this. So let's say I need to also figure out how I'm going to connect the neck properly, because this looks awful. This isn't working. I need to do a paint over to get that to work. But yeah, like, do I want to rig this with like a Mixamo or Human IK, or do I just want to pose it in sculpts? There's a lot of stuff that I need to figure out, and not necessarily how to do it, more just like well, technically how to do it, but more like I know how to do the techniques. It's a case of which technique should I use for such a simple project. Personally, I would use both. Usually do bakes and painter, then move to Mari for projection and tiling, etc. Oh, I see. I think the ZMS should be a good starting point for a proper retopper. Yeah, I could do. I tend not to like going from ZRemesh to manual retopper, just because I like to control exactly how many edges I've got, and I find patching existing topologies just to be a pain. But we'll see. We'll see what I end up going with. I'm going to stay tuned though. Sounds cool. Cool. Thanks, man. Yeah, if you want to see some look dev stuff, oh, has my Wacom stopped working again? Okay, let me save. Wacom might just stop working. Let's close ZBrush, reopen it. is the one. Okay, so clay buildup. Cool, it's working. I need to get my brushes back though. So 0 alpha on that. Be clay tubes. Alpha modify. Not mid value. Radio fade about 11. Down standard. I can put you back now. Cool, and then down standard, so just lazy radius about there. Cool. But yeah, in terms of like some skinlet dev stuff, I did do a little bit of work. As I said, it's quite simplistic, but I did do a little bit of work on the Dragon Boy series, so you can always check that out. I won't be streaming tomorrow. I've streamed the last 2 days, so today makes it 3 days in a row. So I'm definitely not going to stream tomorrow, just because I mean, I only say I'm going to stream on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday anyway. I just added a Friday this month, or this week. So maybe you can check that out at some point. Excuse me. Right. Does the nose have to be further back? I feel like it does have to be further back. Getting around this, that one, for the most part. Can't figure out this nose position though. That's kind of cool. I'll just test this. Oh yeah, his is. Yeah, he shared a few of my he dropped into a few of my early streams as well. He's not dropped into one for a little while, but to be fair, like we always harass each other. It's kind of funny. I kind of like. That's too thin and kind of creepy, but I kind of like having this kind of pattern on there. I can't do it obviously with this concept like wall paint or anything, but maybe I could do like a super subtle, like I'm talking really subtle kind of birthmark. So if let's just mask this in on one side and then kind of unmask that super subtly. So even if I just do a discoloration like that, it feels kind of interesting to me. I don't know if you guys agree. Could be kind of cool. Anyway, let's get back to masking. Let's mask the mouth as well. So, where does this nose go? Does it go up? No, it does not. That looks weird. Although, so it depends on camera angle. I feel like if we get the head angle about right, the top of the nose feels too low. It also feels like it should blend in more. Let's give that a go. Then maybe if we just lift that up. So I'm asking you again. Lift that up. I might get that look. That kind of works a bit better. Nostril feels too short as well. I don't think it's this going forward, I think it's this going back. Let's save him. Let's add some hair to give it context. Context is incredibly important when you're doing this sort of stuff. It's getting clear. I think that those changes to nose helped. We also need to get this crease going up. So I don't want to make him look angry, but there is a crease in this. It's got like a slight... It's making him look angry though. Although I'm wondering how much of that will go away when I start doing subsurface and all that stuff. Also, the lower eyelid needs to change. Let's smooth in this side. That's closer. This needs to be further out though. Apparently not. Ooh, that's ugly. This divot here is super deep. That's what I was saying is ugly. Do I need to get a bit of overhang in this? That all helps. Let's see how the head is doing from yesterday's session. Oh, I've got immersed ears, didn't I? Okay. So I don't have the history anymore from yesterday's session. Okay, let's get him here. Let's hide the body. That's a sentence I don't want taken out of context. So that's where it was when we merged them. So the eyes do feel better now. This crease feels too strong. It's doing too much work. Because there's something about this one that works better with that crease. Well, the lack of that crease. The eye also feels too tubular. Like this one feels nicer, but this one's closer to the rough. So I'm going to smooth out that. And then let's add, well, let's not add, let's subtract to get this a bit more defined. And I want to have a very subtle, I'll be getting rid of it with subsurface, but I do want it to at least be there, and then I can kind of strengthen it up as it goes along. And then let's just super softly smooth that bit. That's better. Happy blend. Let's change the lighting slightly. Light, there you are. Feels a bit too flat. Light. .85. I need to remember that. No, I'm not doing that. Nah, don't like that. Let's get rid of you.
You okay?
Yeah, why?
Do you always enjoy sitting in darkness?
I'm not intentionally sitting in darkness, I just kind of forgot there's light. Where have you studied CG? 2 places.
Who's that?
I don't know who it is, although they know Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't know the username though. So where have you studied CG? So I started in 2012 at a college in Manchester, Manchester, UK, Tameside. And the course is called Tameside Animation and Game, which is why my YouTube is called MikeCauchiArt, Tameside Animation and Game Design, because I made this YouTube channel for that course, which is why actually the first video on this channel is the first ever animation I made, which is a bouncing ball animation. But yeah, so I studied there for 2 years. That was kind of my introduction to CG. Like I learned how to use the basics of Maya. I learned how to use Mudbox. We didn't have ZBrush. It was a Mac only course, which wasn't ideal because it meant we couldn't use quite a few softwares, but we did have Maya, Mudbox, Photoshop, all that stuff. So I learned those there. And then I went to Bournemouth University, which is also in the UK. Studied. I did 1 year on the technical course, which is it used to be called Computer Visualization Animation, or CVA. In that we did some, like, it's mostly art-based still, but there is there's life drawing, there's character animation, there's all that stuff. But there was also a bit of programming, which I was awful at, so I changed course. Still at Bournemouth, but I changed to the less technical course, which allowed me to do more life drawing and less maths, because I struggled with maths. I can still use maths. Like I use maths every time I go into. Is it broken again? I think my pen pressure is broken again. It has. What the hell? Does anyone know what breaks pen pressure in ZBrush? But yeah, so I did 3 years at Bournemouth. While I was there, I also did some student competitions in the BFX festival. BFX, Bravo Foxtrot X-ray. And that kind of taught me quite a lot in terms of pipeline. That's probably one of the main things that got me through uni, to be honest, is because it forced me to learn the whole pipeline much more efficiently, because it was a 7-week competition with 4 other people to make a 1-minute animated short. But in both years I was the character modeler, so I didn't really have a huge amount of help on the characters. I had a concept artist in both years, but no one actually working on the characters. So I had to get quite quick, so that helped me a lot. But yeah, that's kind of it for study. So I spent 5 years studying, and then I went to MPC. I got a job straight out of uni into the groom department at MPC, and so obviously learned quite a lot there. And I'd count work as education in a way, because when you start off you don't have many responsibilities, as you probably know. So yeah. Oh, I've lost my brushes again. I hate this. And I hate that too. Why is that moving? I'm having so many issues with this. My Wacom's just not having a good time. Right, clear tubes. Alpha, modify, radial fade. And then DS, stroke, lazy mouse, lazy radius. Cool. And oh, I'm not gonna. Well, let's save and check if that's killed my brushes. Of course not. I need to get rid of the brush alpha on this guy. Cool. If anyone knows what causes that, oh man, I feel like I've been studying at Big Rock here in Italy, and we used to have Mac. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, it's using Mac is not really ideal. In industry, it's obviously all Linux and Windows. I'm sure motion graphic studios use a little bit of Mac, but like I don't feel like Mac should ever be what educational facilities use, personally. It just feels like a complete waste of money to me.
What is it?
Using Mac at educational facilities. Yeah, my college used Mac. To be fair, I think Andy is really into Macs. And there is a place for them, it's just if you want to prepare people for animation and VFX, no one uses Mac that I'm aware of.
Conrad was always the same. He said that like everyone that's a developer is always like get Mac because it's easier to like do whatever. But he's always been like, but it's not. You know, it just looks cleaner.
Yeah. By the way, my Wacom pen, it's bugging me every time. Precision with ZBrush, don't know why. Yeah, it's it just sometimes stops working. Don't know why. Super annoying.
It might be the same issue I have.
Yeah, it's just where when I save, sometimes there's like a percentage chance of it. Yeah, where the pen pressure just stops working.
Well, mine was the opposite. I keep hitting the touch button.
Oh yeah, I'm not hitting the touch button. I've got enough desk space.
I do. I feel like my desk is a pretty good. I might actually take a photo of it.
You get a decent amount of space out of yours.
Yeah, my 40 quid desk.
Can I get some notes back?
Notes?
Notes. I think the eyes are a bit too tall.
See, I'm not good with this sort of shit, right? I think the eyes are a bit too tall.
Yeah.
They.
It's the bottom or the top that does it. I think they're too big still. I've made them smaller.
I don't know. I'm not very.
Although when I zoom in, they do feel smaller.
This is what I struggle with. I think you're definitely starting to nail. Can you go to 3/4? I still feel that the mouth is not the correct shape. But have you got a pen?
As in.
Like, can I draw on the?
I can do a snippet.
Yeah, that'll be
Cool.
cool. Just of the concept.
Oh, of the concept?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay, I'll open Kreta then.
I deep condition my ends of my hair.
Conditioning?
Yeah, and they're like
so red. Love it.
Mwah. Are
right.
you embarrassed?
Open
You
file.
blushing?
I'm not embarrassed by you.
You're blushing.
I'm not embarrassed by you.
And can you bring it on screen?
So yeah. So
welcome.
Becca's gonna give some notes.
I'm gonna draw
move this over to the other screen. I'm gonna get some water while if you give me a second.
I'm just gonna draw on this.
Yeah.
What color Sorry guys, I
You want
don't.
to create a new layer.
Hi. Oh, this one. Sorry guys, I've not really ever used Krita before because I'm a Photoshop bitch, but.
Create a new layer, and then there's a
Hi.
triangle top right. What?
Oh. Aha. Where's size? You? Too small.
You can use square brackets as well.
Okay. So this lip to me, I'm really bad at ghost drawing. Yeah, so to me that nose still feels a bit like, or muzzle, top lip, upper lip,
Muzzle.
Yep. Someone did correct.
The lip is just the shelf. So.
Sorry guys, I'm trying to bring this in. Why?
What are you struggling with right now?
Everything.
Oh, okay.
There we go. So see the way yours is still quite smooth? It's missing this kind of build up here. See it? You can see it.
Oh, that's what you mean.
That's what I mean.
when you were drawing it, I was
The
like, oh, is it the
banana.
height? Oh, well, the banana makes no sense, but...
So for everyone that I don't know how to give good feedback in terms of words, so I use food. So for me, I was like, the cashew nut. This is the cashew nut shape, and he didn't understand what I meant, and I've drawn it like many a time, but we've now finally figured out the nose. Maybe we should draw from now on. I also think that your nose is too high. This should be softer.
It should be softer, but I think it's the right height because
Oh,
where it is relative to
yeah.
the lower eyelids.
I think this. You see, like you've got like these bits here.
Yeah, the mounds next to
They
them.
need to be
Softened
smoothed.
out.
Yeah, and then just do that note that I said. And I also feel like these puffy bits here need
Too defined.
Yeah, they need smoothed.
Cool. Do you think it's more a case of reducing volume from them or increasing the volume around them?
It's weird because like she actually has quite a pocket here. So you see like this area here. Whoa, now we're working. See this area here.
You're not using a Wacom, that's why. Use the Wacom.
No, but I need this. So see this like pocket of volume here. It's almost like this chin.
I mean, I've got the plane change in there. It's just the volume.
It's just the volume of. I think you're missing this part. See down here.
So it needs to be.
I feel like
some of this is lighting. Do you remember that? It's like ZBrush likes to.
It's weird. It's like a weird plane change because this looks like it's going like that. Does that make sense? Like flatter, which you have, but I think it needs almost like more. You see here. See what I mean? The way there's like a weird lighting change.
But that could be just the lighting in ZBrush because it does shade anything facing down. It shades incredibly dark.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense then. I also feel
it's the importance of getting things out.
You're
of ZBrush
missing this part of the fringe, so I can't tell if this orbital region here
I
needs to
am
be
missing
covered.
that part of the fringe. Yeah, I am. All right, cool. I'll put it. It's covered on the other side, but
Wait. I don't think her eyes need to be any smaller.
They feel rounder on her. So.
Yeah, but I think this is too extrude. See this? Look, it's nowhere near as puffy.
Well, that's something that I'm wondering about because on this side it is. So if I can have the mouse for a sec, just so people.
No.
So this side it feels like it has volume. This side it feels like it doesn't. So there's two ways I could do that.
You could break the asymmetry on it.
Well, no, I don't think it's that. I think this is slanting backwards, so this is further back. So what that would do is from this angle you'd see the full thickness of it, but because it's slanting backwards, this side, because we're looking at it from a 3/4, would look thinner. So maybe this angle is too horizontal. Maybe it needs to go further back.
Yeah.
Because then that's not breaking the symmetry, which I don't want to do until after we talk about it.
Can you give her nipple rings?
I'm not going to give her nipple rings.
I'm very disappointed.
But yeah, so I'll add volume here. I'll reduce the puffiness of these. Play about with it, see what figures out. Add a little bit of volume here to kind of flatten and get the banana, as you put it.
It's, you see, like, but it's almost like the bit of the volume. I think it's just this plane change. See here, the way you've got it connecting in. I think it needs to like curve around more into the nose. See what I mean? So you can see the curve.
I can maybe I see what you mean. I'm not entirely sure.
So like, give me the mouse. Is this the concept art?
Is
this the concept art? Yeah. Okay, so if I hide my shit drawing, yeah, see here the way this kind of like plane change is here.
Yep.
Yours is currently just going like this, where it almost smooths into the nose.
Oh right, okay, I get you.
Yours like.
Okay, so I just need to. Oh right, okay. I think I know
curve,
what you mean now.
like a. It's almost like a curve, like a.
So basically, what you meant is that this shape right here should grow backwards into the blend. Okay.
And then this bit at the top, there's not as a defined line here. It's almost. You see what I mean? Like that kind of.
I really don't know what you mean with that line, but I'll play about with it and you tell me if I'm on the right thing.
So you see this really heavy line that you've got here?
Oh, the pinch area.
Yeah, the pinch area. It's softened, but also this region almost seems to like blend in on it. So, God, this region almost seems like blend in on itself. Okay. Whereas yours is very, yeah, I feel like where you've got this pinch just needs to go away.
Yeah, I
and you
can do
need to
that, I can do
remove
that.
some more here. See?
Okay.
Yeah. It's because then you get
I'll
that cashew
get on
shape.
with it for sure. Thank you.
Tutorial time with Becca.
Yeah.
I used to be a bad bitch.
The benefits of having an also VFX animation girlfriend.
I ain't no VFX.
Well, you were.
I
You worked at NPC.
I was a department assistant, Miguel.
Doesn't matter.
I booked the rooms. I enjoyed it. Become a runner and a department assistant. It's an entryway. Why? Oh, I put department. Like, why did I put the milk inside the what's it called? Fuck.
I don't know what it's called, Becca.
The sink.
I would say. Oh yeah, that thing.
I used to be a bad bitch.
Oh yeah, your 80s listening music you were listening to earlier was pretty funny.
It's really cool.
What is it from a soundtrack or you just listen to 80s music?
No, it's just a playlist. It's like a Stranger Things playlist.
I feel like this angle is too steep because it looks more horizontal on this side. Although on this side it looks more down, so maybe that is an asymmetry thing.
When you do, we're going to this tomorrow.
That's helped. Okay, and then soften these out, which is a fair note. And let's soften that in a little bit. I feel like lighting and subsurface will do the rest of that. Because generally, I don't know if you guys can hear Becca singing in the background. But generally, it's good to overdo forms slightly. I always find it's better to even if you do overdo it to the point where subsurface doesn't cancel it out. Sometimes having it overdone forms at very least breaks up. Like, because to me, I always prefer to see a model with interesting breakups in the shape rather than a perfectly smooth model. Like, I don't really like perfectly smooth models. They do my head in a little bit. Even though like some of these, so like this little volume here is like an accidental brush stroke, but I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep that 100%. Even though it's not in the ref and actually it's going the wrong direction. If it was muscle, it would be going that way. Having that there just provides a little bit of breakup to the surface, and that's something I want to keep. Let's fill you in a bit. Always use the biggest brush you can as well for whatever it is you're doing. Oh yeah, Becca.
What?
I've attached the ears to the head and it's so odd.
Stop it.
When you come back into the room, I'll show you. So let's pull this back a little bit. Seven concurrent viewers, that's pretty cool. It's nowhere near what real streamers get, but it's progress. Glad to know I'm not the only person with nothing to do on Saturday evening. Hey Becca, realization. My viewership will go down to exactly 0 once lockdown is lifted. Is that? I need to fill that in. Just get a little bit of fur in the cheek there. I'm gonna have to figure out a really nice blend for this. That will be quite tricky, to be honest. Always there in the dark. Hello. How's it going, workflow? You doing well? That's kind of creepy. Always watching. Ooh, when I'm doing the actual groom, it could be cool to have like a little layer of clumps that's sitting over the rest at a different angle. So something I'm going to need to figure out sooner or later is this horrible side profile. If only it would let me get rid of the hair. Yeah. Oh no. Alright, I'm gonna have to find some ref and I'm gonna have to do that as a matter of priority. So let's save and check if that's broken my brushes again. It hasn't. Cool. So let's get a side profile. I'll be able to get one of a monkey. Monkey standing side. If you over grooming this one, will be very cool. I hope so. It's going to be a challenge, that's for sure. I'm going to have to do quite a few passes to get it to work, but oh, their shoulders sit really far forward. That's maybe what is wrong with my guy. I mean, there's many things wrong with my guy, but that might be one of them. Let's do that. That's not what I want to do, but okay. If only I could figure out how to get a linear gradient from here to here. I hate. Moving that forward does help, but it's definitely not gonna do all the work on its own. Maybe I need to also rotate them forward. And then twist them as well. That twist helped, but I don't know why it helped. Oh, it's allowed this roundness, okay. So I need to fill out this volume a bit. To get that roundness back in. The neck is still wrong now. So let's get the, I just put that reference. Did I get rid of it? No, there it is. Can I find a hairless monkey? If I search hairless monkey, I'm just going to get humans, right? That's what some people call us. Oh! So it's obviously the completely wrong build. But that's an interesting insight. That's really cool detailing. But I can't do that because I'm adding fur. That would be an absolute nightmare to groom on. That doesn't look real. That looks Photoshop because this is just way too big scale. And this just feels airbrushed. Why would someone even spend the time doing this? Oh, hell, it's Photoshop, yeah, I thought so. This is way too big. Animals are really built. It will help me figure out what's wrong with the back, though. This hairless bear is really cool as well. This is a really cool bit of reference. That's kind of interesting. Is it their posture, or they actually just have really far forward arms? No, that's not what I want. Rotate. Let's turn off RGB smoothing. Turning off RGB smoothing is one of the most helpful tiny little details. Okay, so that helps a lot. The neck is still an issue. This just doesn't make much sense. Also, this angle doesn't make much sense either. That should be pretty straight until a certain point. In fact, no, this side should be straight, so that should actually be rounded, but why? Need to go and smooth this guy. This is starting to work, although there should be like a little divot in the muscles in this area. I can't remember the anatomical reason for that, which is going to be a nightmare now. So I need to make sense of it. The ears just look so odd. We're getting there though. Pec's too bumpy now. I need to blend. Oh wait, could that be part of the issue? Let me transparency go this guy. That helps. It might just be the width. So the stupidly short neck is going to cause me issues grooming, I think. Because as I was saying earlier, obviously not everyone who's currently in the stream was here earlier, but because we've got quite a large mane on the groom, and we've got quite a small neck, that's going to be really complicated because we need that mane to feel quite full, but obviously to get a full mane that's large from a small, oh, these need to be further out, that's one of the issues. to get a small mane from a large mane from a small neck, you're going to have a lot of density. So that can be really complicated sometimes, getting that right. So if you just crank the density, it's going to look weird. It's going to look not matted, but it just won't look right. When we dynamesh these together, I'll be able to blend it. It might feel a bit better. Can I just move? I can't. I can't do that either. And that wouldn't make much sense, to be fair, if it could do that. Let me just paint a new line for that guy. Need to learn how this works. Currently drawing the muscles just to kind of figure out how I want this to flow. It will help me figure out the sculpt quite a lot. This muscle isn't working correctly. And I don't know this section of the neck well enough. I'm pretty sure there's a muscle that goes that way, but I don't know it well enough, so I need to search that section of anatomy. I also need to figure out, since this guy's got long arms, where does the where do the triceps end? Do they end further down? Do they not? All I'm doing here, by the way, to hide and unhide the painting is just, I've got the color picked to the base model, and then I'm just turning on and off the poly paint. So it looks like I'm just hiding that, but actually what I'm doing is turning off all of the poly paint information. But color picking that is quite a helpful tool. So it acts then like a on-off switch for the poly paint information. Let's get a little bit of that in there. I don't want to do it too much. Although it is twisting forward, so that will droop a little bit. And then I need to get you a little bit more rounded. I just realised I've not got the reference on the screen that you guys can see. Put him there. And let's get the hair back on. So we are getting near a point where I can start considering retopo. I think I'll probably have one more sculpting session after this one. Granted, I'm not done for the day yet, but probably have one more sculpting session after this one. I'm not entirely sure where where I want to retopper it. I was discussing this with Use Your Illusions earlier, so I don't know if I want to do actual retopper with Maya or 3D coat, or if I want to do zero mesh. I'll probably go towards zero mesh, to be honest. I need to fix the volume at the back here. Do I want it to go lower, maybe? Is that what it's missing? Should it just blend further down the back? That does make more sense. And that allows me to flatten this area without it feeling weird. Although it's too flat now. Bit much. Kind of creepy. Could do that. Do some like crazy chin thing. Making like some kind of warlock. It's kind of cool actually. Could also not do that. Oh yeah, I need to pull this side down, forgot about that. I need to turn off this as well. Rib cage doesn't feel right, but I don't see the rib cage in the thing. May as well figure it out though. Let's get back on the monkey riff. This hairless, is it just a chimp with is this a chimp with alopecia? He might be pretty helpful ref for the rib cage. This is super cool though. In fact, I'm gonna save that. Save image as. Skin back wrinkles. Jacked. Buff. You don't see that webpage, do you? I've completely imagined that. This is where it's good to check refs sometimes, call yourself out on your bullshit. So I've made this way too human. Do we give him a gut though, or? Right, we could go full gut. And make it like at least somewhat based on the ribcage so it doesn't feel too out of place. But then that doesn't make much sense with the back being the way it is. VST. I don't know what that shape is. I just wanted to add something there. This is too pointy. That helps a little bit. Although, so currently I'm sculpting on the right side, but I'm looking on the left side. There we go. Just because I can see the bit I need to sculpt here, but I can see the silhouette that I'm trying to sculpt there. Because sculpting silhouettes can be a bit of a nightmare sometimes. Sometimes you just have to change your camera angle in budget. It's like if I was to change this angle, obviously I can just sculpt there, but it's not going to feel right. Or I can just sculpt here and chisel away at it. This isn't working yet. Let's just go straight in with the clay tubes, really hammer that out. And then we can get this back in. That works better. Is it going to work on the actual sculpt? I don't know. Oh, I've done it asymmetrically. I don't know. I wish the cursor would change colour when you got symmetry on. I feel like that would change it quite a lot. Like if it went like a different shade. I turned it off again. God damn it. Alright, so I got it on this time. How many times do I have to resculpt this section? Right, so symmetry on. Carve you away. Add you on. But with a curl. Part you that way. That feels better. That doesn't feel better. Keep forgetting to put this reference on the screen. That new belly isn't working for me. I think it's the volume over here isn't matching what we expect to see. So do we need to make it round around here, or do we need to skin it down? I think skinning it down, but we need something to go here, and apparently ribcage isn't the way, so maybe if we do the kind of chubby, muscly build, where we have muscles building the surface, but they're ludicrously soft. Obviously this would be too soft, but let's hide that. Still need to get this out of the oh, there we go, cool. I could probably get rid of the skull, to be honest. I don't think I'll be using it again. Which means I can get rid of the skeleton as well, because that's in the wrong place to delete. So, now we got 4. Cool, so that's all of them now. Let's learn some neck anatomy, shall we? I don't want to search this, but I knew we'd have like loads of animals with tumours and that sort of stuff. Don't like seeing this. Neck anatomy. Same as humans, I guess. Okay. Let's get that guy in. Oh wait, does the trapezius come down to the collarbone? Muscle, clavicle. Oh, it does. Oh. That'd be why I can never get it to feel right. The trapezius needs to come down to the clavicle. That'd be one of the reasons this is just working so weird. And that means my clavicle is way too far forward, because that's going to be a nightmare to get there. So, VST, let me just draw out where I want this to go. That would make sense, alright. I just need to round out within that volume. Let's go in clay tubes. And let's hide. Oh. So that would be why we get the divot. Okay, now we're starting to make sense. Strictly speaking, I should be sculpting with the muscle, not against it like that. But if I use a soft brush, it won't be as important, because I'm just playing with volume. And let's get the drawing in place. made it asymmetrical again. So let's go into geometry. Have I got it the wrong way around? Modify topology, mirror and weld? Yeah, I do. Yay! Deformation. Oh, smart reason? That's not what I want. Mirror. It's in geometry, that's why. Cool. How long has this been asymmetrical for? I feel like having this mirror button right here is kind of helpful. So now that little divot makes sense. This is a gap between multiple muscles. It's too bumpy now though. I can fill you. Cool. And then to get back to like a lesson I was giving, I'll say a lesson, to get back to some advice I was giving a couple of days ago, just so you guys know I'm not being a hypocrite, I will be softening all this muscle stuff down. I'm just sculpting it strong. But ultimately in the end I will be smoothing it way, way down. Hopefully not destroying the form in the process. I will be having to flatten it a lot though. The reason I'm sculpting it over the top for now is because I'm not too familiar with it. I don't really know how things should be, and the easiest reference you can get is bodybuilders, and obviously they have way too much muscle to be like, you know, a standard chimp. But if I go in this now with the trim dynamic, everything's in the right place. I'm just flattening it down, so it'll feel more correct that way. And then bony landmarks will stay. I do need to smooth them out though. But yeah, that will do a lot for me. And at some point I need to add skin detailing, but I have no idea how I'm going to do that yet. I might need to get some brush alphas from online to kind of help me. It's been a while since I did any proper skin detailing. What happened to you? Okay. I need to dynamish this. Cool. And dynamic. I'm holding the Alt key from time to time just to fill rather than just take away. Because trim dynamic is it's a really good brush, but it can be quite destructive sometimes. The way it handles changes of angle isn't necessarily ideal. I don't know if there's a better one online somewhere. Probably is, to be honest. The ZBrush community is pretty big, and there's a lot of very smart people making brushes. Let's try making a plane change. And then just get our ref back. Ah, I've lost my polypaint. Okay, duplicate. And then this is the duplicate, so let's go back. So, how far forward do I have to go? Wait, what? Did I accidentally, like, do a little brush stroke or something. Okay, well I've lost my poly paint, but that's fine. RGB, color, fill object, and then I'm gonna smooth. Not smooth, safe. Why did I say smooth? Right. I feel like the pectoral section of the clavicle is too short. Also, the bone doesn't seem to be doing what I want it to do, because it's got like that, which is not right. It should be a lot more, something more like that. So let's quickly fix that. All I need to do is just bring this bit a little bit forward, and that will get that effect for me. I just need to make sure it's straight. The clavicle is quite straight from the front. It's at an angle, but it's quite straight. Well, it's at an angle at least with the arms rotated forward. Cool. He's a very muscular boy. Okay. And I'm gonna have an absolute nightmare when it comes to posing him. Which reminds me, keep forgetting to put it back once I move it. I think we're at a point though where maybe we can start zero meshing him and then sculpting some more on top of the zero mesh. Do I want to dynamesh the head and the body together though? His neck doesn't feel right still, and that's harder to change once I well, it's not that hard to change, but it'll be harder to change when I merge that. So I've just saved version 5, so let's save version 6 now. Okay, and then version 6. I'm also going to have to move all these files because currently they're saving to my standard ZBrush library, and I don't want them saving there. I want them saving in the project that they're supposed to be in. But let's just go merge these down. Okay. Then we have to dynamesh that to the resolution of the top guy, which is going to be very high resolution. Was it set to 600? I don't think it was. Okay, the face doesn't really change much, so I guess that's correct. Becca's still listening to her 80s music, I love it. Oh, that's not what I want. Is this in symmetry? It is, cool. To hollow that out. Get some more hint of muscle. Do need to smooth this though to add at least the illusion of skin. Let's add a really over the top Adam's apple. And then smooth you way in. I guess you need smoothing in as well. The pecs might be a bit long, maybe. Something I'm now realizing. Yeah, I think they were too long. And it still needs to be more voluminous. then this is too defined. Why am I suddenly noticing all the issues with it? Now that it's dynameshed high resolution, it is harder to change. It's such a weird shape. I feel like I've gone too much towards human anatomy, which is making it weird. But so it's 3.5 million polygons. I'm tempted to do a test render now. I take it into Maya and just quickly throw something together. It's only 4 million polygons, so I can just take it into Maya. It'll be a bit chuggy. Let's save. I'm super paranoid with my saves now. Okay, so let's see plugin, destination master. Really tempting to click my mouse, but I need to make sure I don't, because I almost always get crashes when I click during ZBrush processing something big. Just realised as well the rib cage behind the pectorals is a bit lacking in volume. There's like a little divot there. Reordering points. Right, and then Z plugin, estimate current. Perfect. Color fill object. There's 700,000 polygons now, which is a lot easier to manage. Okay, so I'm not going to save the scene now. I'm going to just go down to export, turn off group, turn off group for you as well, turn off group for you as well. Cool. And then, have I lost any details on the face? I don't think I have, so I can probably actually keep this decimated version. So let's export them all. Export eyes. So let's go into TG stuff, projects, personal projects, some Rowan study, model. Yeah, that'll do. ZBrush. Export. Sculpt. Eyes 01. Then just make sure that's that. Cool. Export. Then call this hair 01. And so this guy export body 01. Cool. So let's save a version. And actually, New folder. Scenes. Let's start saving in the right folder. Cool. So I can close ZBrush now. Close U. Probably close PRF for now as well. I don't save because I've already saved the scene. Cool. Cool. File, set project. Set Rowan study. Create default workspace. File. I'm going to reference these in. Reference editor. And model. ZBrush export. Sculpt. Can I export? No, I can't. Put reference. So these are going to be really small. I need to find out the scale of the actual creature. I think it was something like 7 centimeters tall for the skull, which obviously this is still smaller than. Let's import another reference for eyes, and import another reference for hair, which is the heaviest one so far. Cool. So can we group these? I don't think we can. Oh, we can. Cool. Rowan creature group. So let's get the scale set. So let's Google, see if we can find out. So it's a spider monkey skull dimensions. Images. Okay, there's nothing with a ruler. So it's basically 9 centimeters tall, 8.9. So if we create a distance tool, so if we create a distance tool, create distance tool, where are you? Measure tools, distance. Just going to click an arbitrary spot. Oh, that's really close. Okay, so that's pretty much dead on the origin. So I need to move you over here. So 8.9. There we go. There's a little number here, by the way. I don't know if you guys can see it on the stream. So the head needs to be the size of that. Let me just move these guys forward. Let's hide the hair while we do it. Move the pivot. So I need to scale this until the chin lines up. There we go. So that's about the right scale now. Delete these. So if he was a spider monkey, he is now modeled to scale. He's probably not a spider monkey. Still need to fix the arms as well, but I might do that after retopo. So it'll be easier to control. I also need to potentially extend his arm further back, but again, we can do that once we got a topo in place. But I'm not doing retopo yet, so let's just do that. Okay, modify free transformations. And I'm going to save this scene. So zero exports. So I'm in model. Rowan creature model 1001.ma. Don't crash. Let's set task manager. It's really that in the moment it chose to crash. No, seriously? There we go. Is that done? It is. Cool. So let's create a dome light, that's a mesh light. Dome light, there we go. Actually, add to bathroom EXR text. Rotate it 180. Panel, new. Name this guy. And a cam. Render man as always. 720 for now would be fine. I want you to allow 256 samples for now. That's fine. Allow caustics. Commit opacity. Right, so I've hit save. That was probably a mistake. I really hope this scene's not so heavy to save later on in the project. Like maybe it's just because there's a sculpt in the scene. Even though it is a reference file, so that shouldn't be an issue. But maybe that is the issue in this case. Hitting save was a mistake. There we go. Cool, there we go. So I can keep the naming of that. Let's assign a pixel surface to the hair. And then let's call this PXR hair temp matte. And then let's assign a material to all of these. Assign a material, pixel surface, PXR skin matte. And then material, PXR I temp matte. Okay. List to load. So that says super dark. Physical refraction index of 1.335. Edge color. Yeah, let's not go the whole way actually. Let's decrease the roughness. Something like that is fine. I'm not going to add refraction because there's nothing for it to refract yet. This guy will need to be I need to start an IPR. Okay, so I'm going to move this guy onto my other screen. Then let's start an IPR. Or I can use the RenderMan viewport, which I've not used before, so let's see if this breaks everything. So renderer, RenderMan. That was quicker than I expected. Okay, so let's go into list, auto load, hair temp. Cool, physical. This is a clay, so let's go with 1.4, I think is a decent range for that. Add you. Add some more roughness. Okay, let's select this guy. And same thing for him pretty much, except brighter. Physical. Okay, cool. I'm gonna load up a image I put of my ZBrush scene yesterday. I'm just opening Facebook on the other screen. I'm gonna color pick that. Come on, let me go onto my Facebook. There we go. So I'm just gonna color pick the skin. That should be hue shifted, 100%. That's a lot better. Why? Is this set to list? Let's pick the same color we just got and darken it a little bit and slightly increase saturation. Apparently not enough. Ah, really? Let's open this back up. List, auto load. There we go. Is there a way for me to turn off the selection highlight in your render viewport? It's a bit annoying. There should be a wireframe visibility. Unless there isn't, it's one of these. But I don't feel like that'd be it. And these obviously don't work. Okay, so we just need to keep loading. Let's increase the roughness a little bit. Cool. So we've got something in place. Getting the eyes right is going to be a nightmare. Okay, so let me switch to a regular viewport. And then let's double check. Do I want to use that? I think so. Okay, let's try doing an actual render. I'm going to crank the resolution. I don't need it to be that low. Okay. Alright, it's in common. Let me just maintain 1440. It must have the monitor that I'm using. Renderman, preview render. Yeah, it does look like the gremlin girl. Hopefully that'll be fixed once I change the colours and add some fur to everything. I really hope it's fixed. This is what I mean, like everything gets softened out when you render. Like absolutely everything gets softened out. Just disappears. Can also be the lighting. The lighting is very flat. In fact, let's do this render. I'm going to select this, kick off the RenderMan viewport, and I'm going to change which textures I'm using. So let's try the Epping Forest. So blue. What else do I have? I have Urban Street. Let's try that one. Cool. Right, so we're getting somewhere. Get a little bit of Rembrandt lighting. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Now realizing the scope of the project. So, Renderman. I'm going to continue to use my bathroom. So then, do we have the reference? Well, of course we have the reference. This lighting is very top down. I don't think we're a million miles away. We do have things to solve though. Oh. The ears are a problem. Because if I... Okay, let me try something. So I'm going to put this on the other screen for a second. I'm going to set the resolution to be a square resolution. So let's say 1K square. And let's try... That's not updated. Rude. Why is this not updating? Oh, I've got the wrong thing. Okay. Okay, square.
You know the website that I showed you ages ago that did the t-shirts of like Millhouse and they say like my mom thinks I'm cool.
Oh yeah.
They do one that's ET and it says ET stay home.
Oh really?
I'm so tempted.
Do it.
I'm gonna. And then there's a Gremlins one, and it's the girl Gremlin. This is bad bitch.
Oh yeah.
It says bad girl, but you can customize it. And I'm thinking, would you like one?
I'm alright, thanks.
Are you sure? They have David Mitchell.
Thanks.
There's so many peep show ones. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure something out.
What's wrong?
The face needs to be a lot smaller. Either that or the ears need to be way bigger. There's something wrong with the ears.
I think the ears are bigger. Like what size are the ears in comparison to the head in the image?
They're pretty big. So the ears are just massive, like. Let's try rendering that.
Oh, this is so loud. I've got both headphones in them.
Oh yeah, the ears are massive because to get the face about that size in the thing, they're way off screen. So let's get this is going to shrink back to the bottom, but if I get this to about the same place, and then get the the ears have to be huge.
Yeah, they're like bat wings. They're
massive.
The bottom is only the top of her, like the bit of the ear pinna. So like here, is only the size of her forehead.
Yeah.
They must be fucking twice the size, or 4 times the size at least.
I've already merged them into one object.
In ZBrush?
Yep.
You just mask them? Have you merged
Yeah,
them?
I mean, I can mask them, it's just a case of it's not as clean then.
Is the hair merged? Or do you have a separate
No, it has a separate object.
It's got a history on it?
Not that far back. I've been sculpting for hours, so.
Masking?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to, yeah. It's just a case of it's not as easy as it would have been. Let me try rendering that though.
I'm not being funny, but can you separate?
Hmm?
Or you merge them? Sometimes they remerge shit.
It's literally
like a weird
blended.
history.
It's not
Oh,
merged. It's
ah.
I've dynameshed it and sculpted it together.
You've done the things.
Yeah. So they are one mesh now. So let's try preview render. Yeah, the ears have to be huge. Jesus, I didn't realize they were that big.
I don't think any of us did.
Rendering it is so helpful though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So let's kill that. Let's select that guy.
I have an important topic conversation.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to convince Sean to put googly eyes on his ketchup.
Put what?
Googly eyes?
Googly eyes.
Because it looks like a mammoth.
Very important.
A very important topic. I have many regretties as well.
How many? Many regretties, but many
fuck.
spaghettis? Or? Right, let's try. I'm gonna save this scene.
I can't remember. Why?
Why what?
I'm trying to delete the. I'm trying to figure out where there's geometry. Aha! These fuckers. You right?
Yeah, it's a piece of
Dust.
dust just like flew up my nostril. That was horrible. That was awful. This is a long stream.
Doesn't matter.
It's gonna be like 4 hours by the time I'm done.
I'm done.
I think once the ears are bigger, it'll be ready to start retopo, I think.
I would say push it. I heard you saying you didn't know if you're gonna push it.
What do you mean push it?
Like for retopple.
Actual retopo.
Yeah. Well, enough.
I just don't see the point, to be honest.
I know. Well, you're not doing the full body, so I suppose nobody's
Yeah.
gonna work it.
It's like if I do a high res zero mesh and proper UVs with a high res zero mesh.
Yeah.
And if I put effort into the zero mesh, not just like hit the button and go, but
Yeah,
like.
we did explore because I don't know when was the last time you actually used zero mesh.
Well, for Dragon Boy.
No, but like.
Like really go in depth
Yeah,
and
you know
get
what I mean,
something
like
out of
draw
it.
the lines and shit in.
Yeah, because there are methods that I could use to really get a lot out of it. Right, okay, what am I doing? I am turning on RenderMan. Okay, chest needs to be broader as well. Now that I've got it in an actual camera, this is why it's so important to take things out of ZBrush, because the ZBrush camera isn't that helpful. Okay, so apparently moving my perspective camera is enough to trigger the render to update, so I'm going to have to not move my perspective while I do this. That'll do, and then let's turn off you, and let's create let's go with disk light. And then, do we have a cone angle? Don't want it that low, Jesus. Oh, maybe I do. Let's see. Okay, so exposure, let's set it to 2. 5. 7. 12. Oh, there we go. I'm getting something now. Oh, it's aiming off the top of his head. I wish it normalized based on size. Is there a normalize somewhere? Oh, profile normalize. Oh, that's a profile though. I don't know if that will work. No, because there's no profile. That makes sense. Advanced. Normalize, there we go. Trace light paths. Enables photon tracing for the light. Its value forces physically based. Huh. Oop, that's a bit strong. Let's turn that off. Cool, so window. Oh no, not that one. Window. Needs to be more to the side, I think. Yeah, it does. A lot more to the side. Looking at that reflection in your eyes. Let's turn off the cone angle. Try to get these eye reflections in the right place. It's so difficult. Okay. Getting there. Maybe I can.
Ooh, zesty. Cool. I like her.
The ears need to be way bigger.
Way bigger.
Chest needs to be way bigger.
Yeah.
Shoulder needs to be higher, but that's more of a pose thing. It's the ears. The ears are the biggest thing. And then I think I can start retopo. I feel like the top of the eye should be lower. Well, that could be a groom thing, to be honest, where the hair's a bit too low in the sculpt. Ah, God. But I got the highlight in the eyes in the right place, so lighting's in at least vaguely the same place. Although one thing I'm kind of interested to whether I should replicate it or not is the eye reflection has like a warble to it, which implies is like a uneven surface on the eyeball, or it's got a roughness that keeps changing, which makes less sense. So I'm gonna have to do some fancy displacement on the eye to get the warble effect. It might look quite cool if it gets pulled off correctly. Obviously it's just a side effect of him using textured brushes, but it's something that I could maybe play with. I just need to pose him, or her, or it. Her. And that'll be a lot easier once it's retopoed, so I think we are pretty close. Once I've done the ears and got the depth of the mouth, because the mouth I've realised has lost all of its information. The nostrils as well, they need to be carved in deep. That will get me a bit further.
Are you stopping soon or what are you doing?
What, sorry?
Are you stopping?
Yeah, I'll be stopping soon-ish. I'm going to quickly tweak the shaders. Although, actually, before I do that, I'm going to save a version of this scene. Because now I've got a camera locked kind of in place. Something I'm going to do is I'm going to... what's the word that I'm looking for? When I'm posing it, I'm not going to tilt the head at all. I'm going to keep the head like locked in like world zero basically, so that I can still use symmetry sculpting and that sort of stuff, because the body I'm less concerned about. The body's got less of a focus, and to be fair, like the body's obviously less of a focus in the painting as well, because it's got no real details on it. So I might just cover it in like a thin layer of fur that just gives it the illusion of detail.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't need to do much work to get something that looks okay for the body. But yeah, one thing I do want to do though is do like a proper pipeline for the UVs. So like have different UV sets for groom and so that I can actually use UDIMs but at the same time have X-Gen on the same mesh. Which I'm going to need to brush up on how to do because I've never actually done it. But I know you can do it. It's just a case of I think X-Gen needs to be on map 1. Oh, the saving takes so long. I've referenced the sculpt in because it's 3 million polygons I think for everything, or maybe 1.5. Decimation mastered it down. But for some reason it's still insanely slow to save, which doesn't make much sense because it's not actually saving the model, it's literally just saving the changes to the model, which is scale, group, assign material. It's all the changes to it. Unless it saves every change to the shaders as well, but that would be a bit intense. That would be a really inefficient way to program it as well, so I can't imagine that being it. Right, so let's go list. I'm going to pick a color from renderer. Pick a color from the painting now. So let's go with that. No. Let's go with that. Also no. Somewhere between those two. Close enough. The body needs to be whiter, but it's all just a shadow at the moment. So then, when I select this guy, I can get a hair temp, pick a colour for this guy. Bit bright, but okay.
It's cool though.
Let's pick a darker colour. I have to like manually pick a colour for this because obviously it's not going to understand hair. Saturation down.
What are you gonna groom it in?
Action.
Action?
100%.
For creature.
Yeah. Because although it's a creature, it's not short fur really. I benefit from using action a lot more than using anything else for this. What I'm debating though is the eyes are in place now, and they're the right scale. Should I just spend the next stream doing eyes? So that,
what?
should I spend the next stream doing eyes? Because that gives me a chance to have a few days break from the body and the head and all that stuff.
Yeah, whatever you want. Do you feel yourself burning out on one?
It's not that I'm burning out. It's more that, like, I didn't notice how big the ears had to be. I had frankly no idea.
And now that you have, you're like, fuck.
It's not necessarily even that. It's just like, how did I not see that? Is more what I'm thinking. Pardon?
Nobody seemed to notice.
No one saw it, but at the same time, like, I think if I'm gonna sculpt, I need to come at it with really fresh eyes.
Yeah, I know, I get you. Like, take a few days out.
Yeah, take a few days away from the actual model and work on something else. Like the eyes I can work on because it's just eyes. Like, you don't need you know, I mean, eyes you can kind of wing it for a certain amount. Unlock selected. I need to do a camera lineup at some point, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, to get the head in the right place so that I can do everything else relative to it correctly.
I'm gonna stay a bit later. I think maybe like midnight just working on this dude.
Sure. I mean, I'm going to be staying up pretty late as well. Lock.
Even if you're not streaming, like video game.
I play some games. I've already been streaming for 4 hours. Although that 4 hours includes the half hour before, so 3.5 hours of actual streaming. This will be the longest stream so far.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Oh. No.
So that's too close now. God, the ears have to be huge. Good lord, they have to be huge. Alright, let's unlock those actually. Keep those unlocked for a second. There we go. I think that's about the right scale. Maybe it needs to turn more. Like that. It needs to be higher in the image. This would be really fun to groom though. Also really happy with how the sculpt is looking. Like for the groom on these edges.
Yeah.
Like, actually, it works fairly well.
Same with the Jesus and get it torn apart.
Oh yeah, it'll get ripped apart. Completely ripped apart. To be fair, I'd rip this apart as well, because now that I'm seeing those things and just like, ah! Ripped apart isn't always a bad thing, to be fair. I mean, hell, I've had like professional grooms ripped apart, even though it's like, those strays are in the wrong place, how could he even, it's like, it's 99% matching, it still gets ripped apart. So I'm never too worried now about when feedback is harsh. Mask that, so let's... Do I want to start setting up the camera, or is that too far? Yeah, fuck it, I'm going to set up the camera. I need to tint the background though, let's do that. I'm probably going to replace the background. I might actually do some trees, but like super depth of field them out. So literally just vague leaf shapes to get some information in the background. For now, I'm going to try tinting the actual light itself. Let's try. I said it's going to be too much, but let's try green. That's hideous. I can tint it slightly blue though, that kind of worked. I could make it warmer. Let's set this to white, and then I'm going to set color temperature, turn that on. I'm set it to sun temperature, which is like 3,400? Or is that fire? Enable temperature. Temperature sun in Kelvin. I think it is 6,500 actually. I think the number I was thinking of was sun in 5,778. 5,778. Sunlight. Yeah, add something. Some hue variation at least. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the camera, and I'm going to call the stream an end. So let's do a nice little camera setup, shall we? There are locks, that's good. I've got perspective open already. Let's distance tool the fuck out of this. Create distance tool. Measure tool, distance tool. Eyes are going to be the focal point, so let's get this on the eye. On the surface of the eye, or like in the eye. Cool. And then this can go on you. And there. And then let's parent those together. I think it's this way around. Rigging, constrain, parent. Constrain, parent. So now if I was to move this guy, move him, and if I MikeCauchiArt, cool, that moves. So there's a lot together now. The distance is 50.1. So if I grab this guy, render shape, Renderman. 5 blades. Enable camera projection. Pixel camera. 50.1 was it? 50.1, and then I'm using an 80mm lens because it's my favorite lens. Let's get the angle of view. And then let's try rendering that. Cool. So everything should be in focus except from the f-stop value always has to be way too high. It really annoys me. Like, why does this f-stop have to be so high? There's probably someone who knows, but let's have some radial distortion. Oh, not that way. Let's not add radial distortion. On second thought. Vignetting. Cool. I wish you could crank this. Cool. Render it. Renderman. So that's a basic camera setup. I'm going to end the stream here, guys. I'm going to wait for a couple of minutes if anyone has any questions. I mean, there's 2 people watching. But if either of you have questions, send them through. I'll stay on for another couple of minutes because I know the delay on the stream today is quite a lot more. As said earlier, I've increased the quality of the stream, so you should be able to read settings a bit more and see like finer details and like stray hairs and that sort of stuff. But it does mean the delay is now like 25-30 seconds rather than 11 or 15. Is it saving? I can't remember if I hit save. No, yeah, it's saving. Let's do an actual render. There we go. It's a render. Depth of field is too shallow, but oh well. Let's set that to 2K. Renderman 512. Decrease that and use U. I keep forgetting the save takes forever. Yeah, I think the next stream I might just do eyes, so I can focus on that. Because I kind of want to explore how to do monkey eyes as well, so very different to human eyes. Slow boy renders. Slow boy saves even. Right, that's that one. preview render. I think I might try compositing these two images together and see where the major differences are.
Yeah.
Someone just joined the stream. The stream is about to end, whoever just joined. I'm literally just waiting for this render to finish and then calling it end there. I've already been streaming for a while, 3 3/4 hours. I'm going to pull the hair off the cheeks, I think, as well. I might do progress renders on this and store them all, so I can like do a GIF at the end of like the different stages of rendering.
Are you still streaming?
Still streaming it, although I'll be ending it pretty soon. I might do a paint over off stream, figure out some stuff.
Sure.
Because I don't want to keep streaming too long. And I can share the paint over when I start the next stream. partially because my painting ability is embarrassing. Right, I'm calling the stream here, guys. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Next stream will be on Monday. I'm going to take Tuesday maybe. What day is it tomorrow?
Sunday.
Today's Saturday, right? Okay. Next stream will be on Tuesday, I think. Definitely not tomorrow, at least. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Hopefully see you in the next stream. And I'll decide what we're going to do. It's either going to be make the eyes properly, like do an iris and like actually go through the eye kind of pipeline, inverted commas there. But if not that, then I'll probably just go through kind of tweaking this model, you know, changing the ear size because the ears need to be massive. This should be going off here somewhere. So fix that, increase the size of the chest, and kind of pull the fur away from the face, maybe deepen the mouth and nostrils. But I'll figure out exactly what I want to do. But yeah, so here's finished render. I'll save this somewhere, and then yeah, we'll kind of make progress from there, hopefully. Alright, bye guys.